Most people wake up every day, go to work, earn money, and still feel like they are falling behind financially.
They pay their bills, handle their responsibilities, and sometimes even get a salary increase. Yet the stress never really goes away. At the end of the month, they look at their bank account and wonder where all the money went. This situation is not rare. It is happening to millions of people around the world. And what makes it even more confusing is that these people are not lazy.
They are working, they are earning, and they are trying.
So the real question is this: if people are earning money, why do they still feel poor? Here is something most people don't like to hear.
Staying poor is really about how much you earn. It is almost always about how you manage what you earn.
Two people can make the same amount of money, live in the same city, and have similar responsibilities, yet their financial situations can look completely different.
One feels calm and in control, while the other feels stressed and stuck. The difference is not luck.
The difference is the habits, decisions, and systems they follow with their money, often without even realizing it.
Welcome to Finance Formula. This channel is not about quick money, hype, or unrealistic success stories.
We will look at the hidden reasons that are rarely discussed, the everyday habits that quietly damage financial progress, and the mindset mistakes that keep people trapped in the same cycle. This is not about blaming anyone. Most people were never taught how money really works, so they simply do what feels normal. By the end of this video, you will clearly understand why earning money alone is not enough, and what actually separates people who move forward financially from those who stay stuck, no matter how hard they work. Most people believe that earning money is the hardest part of financial life. They think once income starts coming in regularly, things will naturally improve. In reality, earning money is only the beginning. Without structure, income alone does very little. Money comes in, but because there is no clear system guiding it, it flows out just as quickly.
People often feel busy and productive, yet financially stagnant.
This happens because money without structure behaves randomly. It reacts to needs, wants, emotions, and situations instead of following a clear direction. Over time, this randomness creates instability, even when income is steady. When there is no structure, every financial decision becomes a reaction. A bill arrives, money is spent. A desire appears, money is spent, an emergency happens. Panic begins.
There is no plan in place to handle situations calmly. People tell themselves they will manage things as they come. But managing things as they come usually means managing stress.
A structured approach to money gives every unit of income a purpose. Without structure, income increases often change nothing. Our raise may feel good for a few months, but soon expenses adjust, and the same pressure returns. This creates a frustrating cycle where people feel like they are working harder, but not moving ahead. Another issue with income without structure is that it creates dependency. People become fully dependent on their next paycheck. Missing one payment or facing one unexpected expense can cause serious problems. This dependency creates fear, and fear leads to poor decisions.
Financial structure reduces dependency by creating buffers, planning, and predictability.
Without it, people remain vulnerable no matter how much they earn. One of the biggest structural mistakes people make is allowing spending to come before saving.
For most people, saving is what happens after everything else is done.
They pay bills, buy necessities, spend on comfort, and then check what is left. Saving feels distant and boring. Because of this emotional imbalance, spending usually wins. People justify spending by telling themselves they deserve it or they will save next time. Over time, this creates a habit where saving is always postponed. Months pass, years pass, and people realize they have little to show for their efforts. The problem is not that people spend money. Spending is necessary and normal. The problem is the order. When saving comes last, it is sacrificed. When saving comes first, it is protected. The order in which money is handled determines the outcome. This simple truth is ignored by most people, and it keeps them financially weak. Saving last also removes any sense of financial security. Without savings, people live close to the edge. Any problem feels dangerous. This constant vulnerability creates stress and anxiety. People become more focused on surviving the present than preparing for the future. Over time, this mindset reinforces short-term thinking and weak financial habits. Another major reason people stay poor is lifestyle inflation. As income increases, spending increases with it. Together, they absorb extra income completely.
Lifestyle inflation is dangerous because it feels justified. People believe they are simply enjoying the rewards of their hard work.
And while enjoying life is important, Problems begin when enjoyment grows without boundaries. When spending grows at the same pace as income, financial growth stops.
People earn more but remain in the same position.
One of the most frustrating effects of lifestyle inflation is that it creates the illusion of progress. People feel richer because they have nicer things, but their financial stability does not improve.
Their bank balance does not grow. Their stress does not decrease.
Their vulnerability remains the same.
This illusion keeps people trapped because they believe they are moving forward when they are not. Lifestyle inflation is often fueled by comparison.
People look at friends, co-workers, or social media and feel pressure to keep up. This pressure pushes people to spend beyond their comfort zone.
Social media especially creates unrealistic standards of success and happiness.
People compare their real lives to carefully selected highlights of others. This comparison leads to unnecessary spending and long-term financial damage. Another issue with lifestyle inflation is that it raises the baseline of spending. Once a higher lifestyle becomes normal, it feels difficult to go back. This reduces flexibility. People become locked into higher expenses, which increases dependence on income.
Losing a job or facing a setback becomes far more stressful when lifestyle costs are high. Many people do not realize that financial growth does not come from earning more alone.
It comes from creating a gap between income and expenses. That gap is what builds savings, security, and freedom.
Lifestyle inflation closes that gap.
Even when income rises, the gap remains small or disappears entirely. The combination of no structure, spending before saving, and lifestyle inflation creates a powerful trap.
People work harder, earn more, and still feel poor. They feel confused because effort does not match results.
This confusion often leads to frustration or hopelessness. Some people give up on improving their finances because they believe nothing will change.
The truth is that change is possible, but it requires awareness. People must first understand that earning money is only one part of the equation.
How money is managed matters far more. Structure creates direction. Saving first creates security.
Controlling lifestyle inflation creates growth.
Without these elements, income alone cannot create financial stability. These patterns are not signs of failure or weakness.
They are signs of missing knowledge.
Most people were never taught how money should flow. They simply follow what feels normal. Once these patterns are recognized, they can be changed.
But change begins with understanding why things are not working.
One of the most damaging financial weaknesses people have is the absence of an emergency fund. Many people live without any financial buffer at all. Every dollar people earn is already assigned to expenses, leaving nothing aside for unexpected situations. This makes their financial life extremely fragile. When everything is perfectly normal, things seem manageable. But life is rarely perfectly normal. Problems appear without warning, and without savings, those problems quickly turn into crises. Unexpected expenses are not rare events.
They are guaranteed events. Medical issues, car repairs, home maintenance, job interruptions, and family emergencies happen to everyone at some point.
The difference between financial stability and financial stress is not whether problems occur, but how prepared someone is when they do.
Without an emergency fund, even a small issue can push someone backward financially. When there is no emergency fund, people are forced to react emotionally.
Panic replaces logic. Decisions are made under pressure.
People borrow money, use credit cards, or take loans just to survive the situation. These decisions often solve the immediate problem, but create long-term damage. Debt accumulates, interest grows, and future income becomes tied to past emergencies. An emergency fund does more than pay for unexpected expenses.
It provides psychological safety. Knowing that you have a buffer changes how you think and act. It reduces fear.
It allows you to make better decisions.
Without this safety, people remain in a constant state of financial tension.
This tension drains energy and focus, making it harder to improve other areas of life.
Another major reason people stay poor even after earning money is the lack of long-term thinking. Most financial decisions are based on the present moment. What feels good now?
What solves today's problem? What brings immediate comfort? While short-term thinking is natural, relying on it exclusively leads to poor outcomes over time.
Long-term thinking requires imagining a future that feels distant and uncertain.
This is difficult for many people, especially when daily life already feels overwhelming. As a result, people postpone planning. They tell themselves they will think about the future later. Unfortunately, later often arrives too late.
Without long-term thinking, money decisions lack direction. There are no clear goals, no milestones, and no vision. People drift financially. They respond to situations instead of shaping outcomes. Even when they earn more, they do not know what they are working toward. This lack of direction creates stagnation. Short-term thinking also encourages instant gratification. Spending today feels more real than saving for tomorrow. Buying something now creates immediate pleasure, while saving creates delayed benefit. The human brain naturally prefers immediate rewards, which is why long-term planning feels uncomfortable at first. Without long-term thinking, people sacrifice the future without realizing it. Debt plays a powerful role in keeping people financially stuck. Debt itself is not always evil, but uncontrolled debt is destructive. Many people use debt not for growth, but for consumption. They borrow money to support a lifestyle they cannot afford with their current income. This creates a false sense of success while quietly damaging financial health.
Social pressure is a major driver of unnecessary debt.
People feel pressure to look successful, to keep up with others, and to meet social expectations. This pressure is amplified by social media, where people constantly see images of luxury, travel, and perfect lifestyles. What is rarely shown is the debt, stress, and struggle behind those images. When people borrow to maintain appearances, they trade future freedom for present approval.
Debt reduces flexibility. A portion of future income is already spent before it is earned.
This limits options and increases stress.
People become trapped in jobs they dislike because they need income to service debt.
Debt also creates emotional weight.
Monthly payments serve as constant reminders of past spending.
This can lead to regret, frustration, and anxiety. Over time, this emotional burden affects confidence and decision-making.
People may avoid looking at their finances because it causes discomfort, which only worsens the situation. Another danger of debt is normalization.
Because debt is so common, it feels acceptable.
People tell themselves everyone has loans, everyone uses credit cards, and everyone struggles.
While this may be true, it does not mean it is healthy. Normal does not mean optimal. Accepting financial stress as normal prevents change. Debt combined with lack of savings creates a fragile financial position. One problem leads to borrowing, which leads to more payments, which reduces the ability to save. This cycle keeps people working harder just to stay in the same place. Breaking this cycle requires awareness, discipline, and a shift in priorities.
Social pressure also affects spending behavior in subtle ways. People spend more when they feel judged.
They spend to avoid feeling left out. They spend to match an image.
These decisions are emotional, not logical.
Over time, emotional spending becomes habitual, and habits shape outcomes. Long-term financial stability requires resisting pressure, both internal and external. It requires the courage to prioritize personal security over social approval.
People who manage money well are often not the loudest or flashiest.
They focus on stability, not appearance. This disconnect creates ongoing stress and prevents real progress. Understanding these patterns is the first step toward change. Once people recognize how emergencies, short-term thinking, and debt interact, they can begin to build systems that protect them.
Awareness creates choice. Choice creates change.
One of the most overlooked reasons people remain poor even after earning money is the lack of financial education. Most people were never taught how money actually works.
They learn how to earn, but not how to manage. Schools focus on grades, degrees, and careers, but rarely explain budgeting, saving, investing, or long-term planning. As a result, people enter adulthood with income potential, but without the skills to handle that income wisely.
When people lack financial education, they rely on imitation. They copy what they see around them. If their family struggled financially, those habits become normal.
If friends live paycheck to paycheck, that lifestyle feels acceptable.
Without education, people do not question these patterns. They assume financial stress is simply part of life.
This lack of knowledge leads to repeated mistakes.
People don't understand why saving feels impossible, why debt keeps growing, or why income increases don't change anything. Without understanding cause and effect, they blame themselves or external factors.
This creates frustration and hopelessness, even when solutions exist.
Recognizing how lifestyle choices affect long-term stability. These basic ideas are powerful, but they are rarely taught in a clear and practical way. Without education, people also fall for misleading advice.
They chase shortcuts, quick money schemes, or unrealistic promises. These distractions waste time, energy, and sometimes money.
Real financial progress is slow and consistent, but without education, slow progress feels like failure. Another consequence of lacking financial education is fear.
People avoid money topics because they feel confused or ashamed.
They delay learning because they believe it is too late or too complicated.
This avoidance keeps them stuck.
Learning about money should feel empowering, not intimidating. But without guidance, it often feels overwhelming. Education changes perspective. Once people understand how money works, their behavior changes naturally. They begin to question spending decisions. They see saving as protection, not sacrifice. They recognize that financial stability is built, not gifted. This shift in understanding is often the turning point.
The final and most important factor that separates people who stay poor from those who move forward financially is mindset.
Mindset shapes behavior, and behavior shapes outcomes. Many people believe their financial situation is fixed or controlled by external forces. They focus only on income, believing that earning more will solve everything. This belief creates a dangerous loop. When income increases without a mindset change, spending increases too. People feel temporary relief but return to the same stress. Without changing how they think about money, higher income only leads to higher expenses. A healthy financial mindset focuses on systems rather than outcomes. Instead of asking, "How can I earn more?" it asks, "How can I manage better?" It values consistency over intensity. People who improve financially begin to see themselves as planners, savers, and builders. This identity reinforces positive behavior. People who stay poor often see themselves as unlucky or bad with money, which reinforces negative habits. Changing mindset does not require perfection. It requires awareness and willingness to improve. Small mindset shifts create big changes over time. Choosing structure over chaos, saving before spending, thinking long-term instead of short-term.
These choices compound. When financial education and the right mindset come together, income finally begins to work for you instead of against you.
Money becomes a tool, not a source of stress. Progress becomes visible.
Stability becomes possible.
If you've watched this far, understand this clearly. Staying poor is really about effort. Most people are trying. The real issue is missing systems, habits, and understanding. Once those are corrected, financial life changes slowly, but steadily. This channel, Finance Formula, exists to break down money in a simple and practical way. No hype, no shortcuts, just clear ideas that actually work over time. If this video helped you see money differently, then it has already done its job. If you found value in this content, take a moment to like this video.
It helps the channel reach more people who need this information.
Share it with someone who is working hard but still struggling financially.
And subscribe to Finance Formula for more videos that help you understand money, build stability, and take control of your financial future.
Your financial journey doesn't change overnight, but it does change the moment you decide to understand it. And that decision starts here. If you've stayed with me till the end, remember this one simple truth. Earning money alone does not decide your future. Understanding and managing it does.
Most people stay stuck not because they are lazy, but because they were never shown a better way.
The moment you start building the right habits, structure, and mindset, money stops controlling you and starts working for you. If this video gave you a new perspective, make sure to like it so more people can benefit from this message. Share it with someone who is working hard but still struggling financially. And don't forget to subscribe to Finance Formula, because here we break money down in a simple, practical way that actually helps you move forward.